In a world built on sight, a blind sculptor just found his muse in the most unexpected way. Who is this mysterious stranger whose presence alone has ignited a forbidden love within Arthur Finch? Join us as we uncover how his hands, once his only windows to the world, are now interpreting a connection beyond anything he could have imagined.
I'm on a mission to show that our stories carry weight. My mother doubted I'd reach 500 subscribers, but your support for Bliss Tales proves that LGBT love stories have a place in everyone's hearts. Subscribe and help me keep these beautiful tales alive. Back to the video.
In the heart of the old quarter, where cobblestone streets wind through forgotten alleyways and the scent of rain-soaked stone lingers in the air, there exists a studio that most people pass without a second glance. The weathered wooden door bears no sign, no invitation to the curious passerby. Yet behind that threshold lives an artist whose work has captivated collectors and critics across the continent. His name is Arthur Finch, and he creates beauty in a way that defies conventional understanding. Arthur's studio is a sanctuary of texture and form. Clay-dusted shelves line the walls, bearing sculptures in various stages of completion. Some are smooth as silk, others deliberately rough, each surface telling a story that can only be fully understood through touch. The air is thick with the earthy scent of wet clay and the metallic tang of sculptor's tools. Morning light filters through tall windows, though Arthur himself has never seen its golden warmth. He was born into darkness, his world composed entirely of sound, scent, temperature, and most importantly, touch. Watch him now as he moves through his domain with the confidence of a man who has mapped every inch of his territory. His fingers trail along a workbench, identifying tools by their weight and shape with practiced ease. Wire loops, wooden ribs, metal scrapers, each one an extension of his artistic vision. Arthur is 32 years old, with unruly dark hair that falls across his forehead and eyes that, though sightless, seem to perceive something deeper than mere appearance. His hands are his most remarkable feature. Strong, elegant, perpetually stained with clay, they are the instruments through which he translates the invisible into the visible. His process is unlike any other artist's. When a subject sits for Arthur, they must be willing to be truly known. He begins at the crown of the head, fingers reading the landscape of bone structure, the way hair grows, the subtle dips and rises of the skull. He traces jawlines and cheekbones, the bridge of a nose, the curve of lips. But he goes further than physical features. Somehow, impossibly, Arthur's hands detect the essence of a person. Their joy, their sorrow, their secrets. His sculptures don't just look like his subjects. They feel like them. They capture something intangible, something that photographs and painted portraits always miss. Yet for all his success, for all the acclaim his work has received, Arthur feels an emptiness growing within him. His current project sits in the center of his studio, a life-sized figure draped in damp cloth to keep the clay workable. He has been laboring on it for months, and while it is technically flawless, something vital is missing. The piece lacks soul. It is a body without a heartbeat, form without fire. Arthur knows this, though he cannot articulate exactly what is absent. He only knows that when his hands move over the sculpture, they encounter silence where there should be song. On a Tuesday morning that begins like any other, Arthur makes his way to the market square. He doesn't need a guide. The city is as familiar to him as his own studio. He counts steps, listens to the change in acoustics as buildings rise and fall around him, feels the shift from cobblestone to wooden planks beneath his feet. The market is a symphony of sensory information, vendors calling out their wares, the sweet perfume of fresh bread mingling with the sharp scent of herbs, the warmth of bodies moving through the crowded space. Arthur navigates through the chaos with his walking stick tapping out a rhythm ahead of him. He is reaching for a tomato at a produce stand, fingers assessing its ripeness. When it happens, someone bumps into him from behind, not roughly but with enough force that Arthur stumbles slightly. A hand grabs his elbow to steady him, and in that moment of contact, something extraordinary occurs. The touch sends a jolt through Arthur's entire body, a recognition so profound it steals his breath. It is not painful, but it is overwhelming. Like suddenly hearing music after a lifetime of silence. Like tasting color. Like something impossible made real. The stranger's hand on his arm radiates a warmth that has nothing to do with temperature. Arthur perceives, through that simple point of contact, a complexity unlike anything he has ever encountered. There are layers upon layers, contradictions and harmonies, shadows and light all existing simultaneously. It is beautiful and terrifying and utterly captivating. I'm so sorry. The voice that accompanies this revelation is low and melodious, with an accent Arthur can't quite place. The hand releases his elbow, and Arthur immediately feels the loss like a physical ache. Are you hurt? No. Arthur's voice comes out rougher than intended. No, I'm fine. He turns toward the stranger, reaching out instinctively with his free hand. His fingers encounter a forearm, and again that extraordinary sensation floods through him. Who are you? There is a pause, as if the stranger is considering how to answer such a simple question. Liam. My name is Liam. Even the name feels significant somehow, though Arthur couldn't explain why. He is aware that they are standing in the middle of a busy market, that people are flowing around them like water around stones, but the rest of the world has become distant and muffled. All of his focus is concentrated on the point where his hand rests on Liam's arm, on the inexplicable energy he feels pulsing there. I'm Arthur. Arthur Finch. He doesn't know what else to say. His usual social graces have abandoned him, scattered by the intensity of this unexpected encounter. The Sculptor. Liam's voice carries a note of recognition. I've heard of your work. They say you see with your hands what others miss with their eyes. Something in the way Liam says this suggests a deeper understanding, as if the words carry meanings beneath their surface. Arthur finds himself wanting to know everything about this stranger. Not just their physical appearance, but the architecture of their soul. Would you? Arthur hesitates, aware that what he's about to ask is unusual, possibly inappropriate. Would you let me see you? Really see you? Another pause, longer this time. Arthur can hear Liam's breathing, can sense a tension in the body beneath his touch. Then, quietly, yes, they make their way back to Arthur's studio, walking side by side through streets that suddenly feel new and unfamiliar. Arthur is hyper-aware of Liam's presence beside him. The sound of their footsteps, the subtle scent of sandalwood and something else, something uniquely them. They don't speak during the journey, but the silence feels full rather than empty, charged with anticipation. Inside the studio, Arthur gestures for Liam to sit. The north light is best here. He speaks from habit. Light means nothing to him, but his clients often appreciate it. His heart is racing in a way that has nothing to do with the walk home. How does this work? Liam's voice holds a note of nervousness that somehow makes Arthur feel calmer, more grounded. I'll touch your face, your neck, your shoulders. Nothing intrusive, just enough to understand your form. Arthur has explained his process countless times, but this feels different. The clinical description doesn't capture what he knows is about to happen. All right, pause then. I trust you. Those 3 words strike Arthur with unexpected force. Trust is not given lightly, especially not to a stranger met in a market square. He steps forward, raising his hands slowly, giving Liam time to change their mind. When his fingertips make contact with Liam's face, the world tilts. It is not just a face he encounters but a universe. Arthur's fingers trace a broad forehead, strong cheekbones, a straight nose. But beneath these ordinary features, he perceives something extraordinary. There is warmth here, yes, but also a coolness that speaks of distance, of secrets held close. There is strength in the line of Liam's jaw, but also a vulnerability in the fullness of their lips. Arthur's thumbs brush across those lips, and he feels Liam's sharp intake of breath, feels the tremor that runs through them. His hands move to Liam's hair, longer than he expected, thick and slightly wavy. He maps the curve of their skull, the delicate shells of their ears, the strong column of their neck. But it is what he perceives beyond the physical that leaves him breathless. Liam's presence feels ancient and young simultaneously, like a forest that is both seedling and centuries-old oak. There is loneliness here, a vast and aching loneliness that resonates with Arthur's own. There is also a fierce capacity for love, currently dormant, waiting for permission to bloom. Arthur's hands come to rest on Liam's shoulders, and he realizes he is trembling. "You're remarkable. You don't even know what I look like." There is something wistful in Liam's voice. "I know exactly what you look like." Arthur's response is immediate and certain. "You look like the answer to a question I didn't know I was asking." In the days that follow, Liam returns to Arthur's studio again and again. At first, they maintain a pretense. Liam has agreed to model for Arthur's current sculpture, to provide the missing element that will complete the piece. But both of them know this is not the real reason for these visits. They talk for hours about art and life, about perception and reality, about the nature of beauty. Liam speaks of traveling through distant lands, of seeing things that defy description. Arthur shares his philosophy of art, his belief that true vision comes not from the eyes but from a deeper place within. What fascinates Arthur most is the way Liam defies his ability to fully comprehend them. Usually, Arthur can read a person completely within a single session. But Liam remains elusive, shifting, revealing new facets with each encounter. Sometimes Liam's presence feels solid and grounding, like ancient stone. Other times, it feels ephemeral, like morning mist that might dissipate at any moment. This mystery draws Arthur in, makes him hunger to know more. His sculpture begins to change under his hands. What started as a generic figure is transforming into something specific, something that captures the essential paradox of Liam's existence. The body is strong but graceful, grounded yet somehow conveying a sense of flight. The face that emerges from the clay is beautiful, but it is a beauty that cannot be captured in a single glance. It requires contemplation, reveals itself slowly, rewards patient observation. As Arthur works, Liam sits nearby, sometimes in silence, sometimes speaking quietly about whatever thoughts cross their mind. Arthur finds himself working in a state he has never experienced before. His hands seem to move of their own accord, guided by something beyond conscious thought. He is not merely sculpting a body. He is attempting to capture a connection, to make tangible the intangible bond growing between them. One evening, as purple shadows gather in the corners of the studio and the air grows cool, Liam asks a question that changes everything. "Do you ever wish you could see, really see with your eyes?" Arthur pauses in his work, his clay-covered hands stilling on the sculpture's shoulder. "I used to when I was younger. I wanted to see colors, to understand what people meant when they described a sunset or a painting. But as I grew older, I realized that sight might actually limit me." He turns toward where Liam sits. People who see with their eyes often miss what's truly important. They get distracted by surface appearances and forget to look deeper. "What do you see when you touch me?" Liam's voice is soft, vulnerable in a way it hasn't been before. Arthur considers this, wanting to answer truthfully. "I see complexity. I see someone who has known great sorrow and great joy, who carries both darkness and light within them. I see strength that comes from surviving things that should have broken you. I see a capacity for love so vast it frightens you." He pauses. "I see someone who doesn't believe they deserve to be loved." The silence that follows is profound. Arthur can hear Liam's breathing change, can sense tears though he cannot see them. When Liam speaks again, their voice is rough with emotion. "How do you know these things?" "Because I feel them." Arthur moves away from his sculpture, crossing to where Liam sits. He kneels beside them, reaching for their hands. "Because when I touch you, I don't just feel skin and bone. I feel your essence, your truth. I feel who you really are beneath all the armor you wear." Liam's fingers intertwine with his, gripping tightly as if Arthur is an anchor in a storm. "I've been alone for so long. I've moved from place to place, never staying anywhere long enough to form real connections. I convinced myself it was better that way, safer. But then I met you and suddenly I want to stay. I want to be known. I want to be seen. Arthur brings Liam's hands to his lips, pressing a gentle kiss to their knuckles. You are seen. I see you more clearly than anyone has ever seen you before. They come together that night, not with the desperate passion of strangers, but with the tender intimacy of souls recognizing their counterpart. Arthur maps Liam's body with the same care and attention he brings to his art, discovering landscapes of scars and smooth skin, learning the places that make Liam gasp and sigh. Liam, in turn, seems to understand instinctively how to touch Arthur, how to make him feel truly present in his own skin in a way he rarely experiences. Afterward, they lie tangled together on the daybed in the corner of the studio, Liam's fingers tracing patterns on Arthur's chest. I've never felt this before. Liam's voice is drowsy, content. This sense of being completely accepted, completely understood. Arthur pulls them closer, breathing in their scent. Neither have I. You're the first person who's made me want to share my world, to let someone in this deeply. But even in this moment of perfect contentment, Arthur senses something else lurking beneath the surface. A sadness in Liam, a resignation that troubles him. He doesn't press, though. Some truths reveal themselves in their own time. The weeks that follow are among the happiest of Arthur's life. Liam becomes a constant presence in his studio and in his heart. They fall into an easy rhythm, mornings spent working in companionable silence, afternoons talking and touching, evenings filled with laughter and love. Arthur's sculpture nears completion, becoming something more extraordinary than anything he has created before. It is not just a representation of Liam but a manifestation of what exists between them, a love made visible. Yet Arthur cannot shake the feeling that something is not quite right. Liam never speaks of their past in concrete terms, never mentions family or a home to return to. They never stay the night, always leaving before dawn with a kiss and a whispered promise to return. When Arthur asks questions, Liam deflects with gentle humor or changes the subject. It is as if Liam exists only in the present moment, untethered to past or future. Arthur tells himself it doesn't matter. What they have now is enough. But in his quieter moments, he feels a growing anxiety, a sense that their time together is finite in a way he doesn't understand. He notices subtle changes in Liam, moments when their touch feels less substantial, times when their voice seems to come from a greater distance than their physical proximity would suggest. These observations trouble Arthur deeply, though he tries to push the worry aside. The truth comes on a rain-soaked evening 3 months after their first meeting. Arthur is putting the final touches on his sculpture, working by feel as always, when he hears Liam enter the studio. There is something different in their footsteps, a heaviness that makes Arthur's heart sink. It's finished. Arthur steps back from the sculpture, wiping his hands on a rag. I've completed it. Our masterpiece. Liam crosses to him, and Arthur can feel the sorrow radiating from them even before they speak. Arthur, there's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you from the beginning. Arthur's hands clench around the rag. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. I'm not. Liam's voice breaks. I'm not who you think I am. I'm not even entirely human. The words should sound absurd, impossible. But somehow they make a terrible sense. Arthur has always known there was something otherworldly about Liam, something that defied ordinary understanding. What are you? Liam takes Arthur's hands, pressing them to their chest where a heart should beat steadily, but instead pulses with a rhythm that is both too slow and too fast, like music from another dimension. I am a traveler between worlds. I exist in your reality and others simultaneously. I've been searching for something, though I didn't know what until I met you. I was looking for a place where I could truly be seen, truly known. And you gave me that gift. Arthur's mind races, trying to make sense of this revelation. How long do we have? Not long. Liam's voice is thick with tears. My kind cannot stay in one world indefinitely. I'm already fading, caught between here and elsewhere. Soon I'll have to let go completely, return to the spaces between. No. Arthur's grip tightens on Liam's hands. There has to be another way. You can't just leave. I don't want to. Liam's forehead comes to rest against Arthur's. You've given me something I never thought I could have, a connection that transcends the boundaries of worlds. You've loved me not despite my strangeness but because of it. You've seen the truth of me and found it beautiful. Then stay. Arthur's voice is desperate now. I don't care what you are. I only care that you're here with me. If I stay, I'll fade completely. I'll become a ghost, a shadow, less and less substantial until I'm nothing at all. Liam cups Arthur's face in their hands. But I can leave you with something. This sculpture you've created, it's more than just clay. You've poured our love into it, our connection. It will endure long after I'm gone. A testament to what we shared. I don't want a testament. Arthur's voice breaks. I want you. They hold each other as the rain falls outside, as the inevitable approaches with cruel steadiness. Liam is already becoming less solid, their form flickering like a candle flame in wind. Arthur can feel them slipping away, the vibrant presence he's come to love dimming, dispersing. Remember me. Liam's voice is fading now, becoming wind, becoming memory. Remember that love doesn't require sight. Remember that the deepest connections exist beyond physical form. You taught me that I could be known. Let me teach you that love transcends even separation. And then Liam is gone, dissolved into particles of light that Arthur cannot see but can feel settling gently onto his skin like blessings. He stands alone in his studio, arms empty, heart shattered, surrounded by the silence that Liam's absence creates. For days, Arthur cannot bring himself to approach the completed sculpture. It sits in the center of his studio, a reminder of what he has lost. He moves through his daily routines mechanically, eating without tasting, sleeping without rest. The world feels colorless, though color has never been part of his experience. It is as if Liam's departure has taken with it all the richness and texture that made life worth living. But slowly, inevitably, he is drawn back to the sculpture. When his hands finally make contact with the clay surface, he gasps. It is not just clay anymore. Somehow, impossibly, it has become something more. When he touches it, he can feel Liam's presence. Not a memory or an echo, but a living warmth embedded in the material itself. His hands move over the sculpture with wonder, reading it like a letter from a distant land. Here is Liam's strength. Here is their gentleness. Here is the loneliness they carried. And here is the love they found. The sculpture has become a bridge between worlds, a proof that what they shared was real and enduring. Arthur makes arrangements for the sculpture to be displayed publicly, though he struggles to put into words what it represents. When critics and collectors come to view it, they are struck by something they cannot quite articulate. The piece seems to shift and change depending on who is looking at it, revealing different aspects to different viewers. Some see sorrow, others joy. Some see a celebration of love, others a meditation on loss. Everyone who encounters it feels moved in ways they don't entirely understand. But Arthur knows the truth. The sculpture is not just an artwork. It is a doorway. It is proof that love exists beyond the limitations of form and time, that true seeing happens in the heart rather than the eyes. When he touches it, he is touching Liam again, maintaining the connection that death and distance cannot sever. On the night of the unveiling, Arthur stands beside his masterpiece as patrons and critics circulate through the gallery. He listens to their interpretations, their attempts to categorize and explain what they're experiencing. None of them truly understand, and that's all right. This sculpture was never meant for them. It was created as an act of love, a monument to a connection that transcended the ordinary boundaries of existence. As the evening winds down and the crowd disperses, Arthur finds himself alone with the sculpture once more. He places his hands on its surface, feeling the warmth that lives within it, the echo of Liam's essence. You were right. Arthur speaks aloud, knowing somehow that Liam can hear him across whatever distances separate them. Love doesn't require sight. It doesn't even require presence. It exists in the space between heartbeats, in the memory of a touch, in the art we create to honor what moves us. And in that moment, he feels it. A response, a warmth that blooms beneath his palms like a flower opening to sunlight. It is not Liam returned, not exactly, but it is Liam nonetheless, present in the way that matters most. The sculpture has become a living testament to their bond, proof that some connections are too powerful to be broken by mere physical separation. Arthur smiles, tears streaming down his face, and he understands finally what Liam tried to tell him. This is not an ending but a transformation. Their love has transcended its original form, becoming something that will endure as long as the sculpture exists, as long as Arthur's hands remember the feeling of Liam's skin, as long as his heart holds the memory of being truly, completely seen. In the weeks and months that follow, Arthur returns to his work with renewed purpose. He creates other pieces, each one infused with the lessons Liam taught him about love and connection. But none of them carry the same living presence as that first sculpture, the one that holds Liam's essence within its clay form. That piece remains his masterpiece, the pinnacle of his artistic achievement and the greatest love of his life made manifest. People travel from distant lands to see the sculpture, drawn by reports of its inexplicable power. They stand before it, some moved to tears, others to laughter, all of them touched by something they cannot name. Arthur welcomes them, guides their hands to the sculpture's surface if they wish, helps them understand that true beauty must be felt rather than seen. And sometimes, in the quiet hours when the gallery is empty and Arthur stands alone with his creation, he feels Liam's presence more strongly than ever. In those moments, the boundaries between worlds grow thin, and Arthur knows that love, once truly given, never really ends. It simply changes form, finding new ways to express itself, new vessels to inhabit. In a world that measures everything by sight, Arthur Finch discovered a love that exists beyond vision. He learned that the deepest truths cannot be seen with eyes but must be felt with the whole self, with hands and heart and soul. And in creating his masterpiece, he proved what he had always believed. That real beauty lies not in perfect features or flawless form, but in the authentic connection between souls brave enough to truly know each other. The sculpture stands in the gallery, a silent guardian of secrets, a bridge between worlds. And Arthur returns to it often, his hands seeking the warmth that lives within the clay, the presence of a love that death itself could not diminish. He has learned that some connections are eternal, that art can capture what words never could, and that the heart sees more clearly than any eye ever will. This is the story of a blind sculptor who found his muse in the impossible, who loved beyond the boundaries of reality, and who created beauty that will outlive them both. It is a reminder that we are all searching for someone who will truly see us, and that when we find them, when we allow ourselves to be fully known, we create something transcendent. A love that proves the human heart can perceive what human eyes never could. Love, Arthur learned, is the ultimate act of seeing. And he sees Liam still, every day, in every touch, in every heartbeat, in the warm clay beneath his fingers that remembers what it means to be cherished. This is his truth, his art, his gift to a world that too often mistakes sight for vision and forgets that the most important things in life are the ones we cannot see at all but can only feel with the whole of our being. Through his hands, through his heart, through the enduring power of a love that refused to be constrained by the laws of physics or the limitations of mortal existence, Arthur Finch proved that we are never truly blind when we learn to see with our souls.
Hit the subscribe button for more enchanting tales every week. Don't forget to keep the magic alive.